Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome to the June installment of Smash That Small Paper Pad collab hosted by Deb Houck. There are a number of talented ladies who are participating in this collab, and I do have all of their links listed below in the description box, so make sure you guys open that up. And again, the premise of this paper pad collab is to use up as many small paper pads as we can this whole year, and as long as it's smaller than 12 by 12 it counts. And if you guys have been following along with me, I usually make lots of different cards and a few little albums here or there and a lot of junk journal elements or different things like that. And I've smashed a few pads already, and the current pads that I'm working on are this one from Seven Gypsies. It's Architectures, and it's the Flea Market. It's kind of a fun one, and that right now I have lots of scraps in there because I've done a little bit with it. I also had picked out this Bow Bunny one, and I did start working on this one this month. I think I showed you guys last month this one, but I hadn't started in on it yet. And so I did start in on this one for this month. Also, every month I'm showing you one or two projects from this Graphic 45 one. It is month-based, so every month I'm just showing you what I created for that month. So again, this month I'll show you the June papers, what I did with those. And then I finally smashed this paper pad, and I have to say I'm very happy with that because I was getting kind of tired of this one. For whatever reason, the first few papers from this pad went easy, and then the rest were just a struggle. But I did finish it up, other than there were some cutouts, and I did go ahead and cut out. I used a couple of the cutouts, but a lot of them were like Father's Day pieces and stuff like that where you can only really use them once a year. And since I only have a father and a father-in-law, I really couldn't use all of them in there, so I just cut them out to use them again in the future. And then I also pulled out, to replace this pad, I pulled out 4 other pads, and I know you guys think that's probably kind of crazy, but again, I get bored working with just the same pad, so I just like to be able to mix it in and out. But I will do my best before the end of the year to also smash these paper pads. So I have this romance novel one from Prima. I know a lot of us bought this at Hobby Lobby a while ago, maybe a couple of years ago. I have used a couple of sheets in this one, but not all of them. So before I get going on it, I will count how many I have left. But it's a pretty full pad, so it's probably just a couple of sheets that I've used out of here. This was one that I picked up at a rummage sale, a craft rummage sale a couple of years ago. And I spent 50 cents on it because I bought a ton of them, and I'm just trying to challenge myself to use up some of those pads. And this is one that I have absolutely no clue why I bought because it's not really my style. But so I'm challenging myself to be able to figure out some stuff using this one. And this one is a company. It's called Basic Gray, and it's called the Wisteria paper pad. And here's kind of a peek at it, I guess. Like I said, it's going to definitely challenge me because a lot of these I'm not even quite sure what I'm going to do with. And I'll count this one just to see how many papers are in it. Originally there was 36, and again I will just write on marker on the cover of each one how many papers I'm starting with. The next two are both from Kaiser Craft. This one's called Magnolia Grove, and this one's called The Lake House. And these ones are not complete pads. Again, I bought these at the same rummage sale. I bought this one for 50 cents. I've used quite a few of the sheets out of these ones. They weren't full paper pads when I got them. But they're getting down there, and it'd be nice just to be done with these paper pads. And so again, there's quite a few cut aparts in here. So when you take those out, there really isn't a ton of paper. And same with this one too, and I've used a lot of the cutouts in that one. So there's not a lot of paper left in these two. So those are my next papers that I'm either continuing to work on or adding in. And so to start off with, I will show you guys the Graphic 45 one that I did for this month. And for the card that I created this month for using the Graphic 45 paper is this card right here. You can see I have several layers, and I layered up some pieces right here. I still might add some mulberry flowers, paper flowers to the side, but for right now I'm just leaving it flat so that if I wanted to mail it easily I could. And I have a couple little pieces left. This one, again, these journal cards, I usually add on to a piece of tea-dyed paper and sew around them and just throw them into my junk journal pile. So that's what I'm going to do again with that one. And there's just a couple little pieces left that I didn't use for anything. And I made, here's a little pocket that I made for a junk journal. I can stick a tag here and I can stick a tag right here in it. And then this little postcard piece comes out to also be able to journal on if you want, on the little lines. And then this one I just cut out a little notch, and again I can add it to a junk journal page and make it into a pocket. So that's what I did with the Graphic 45 paper this month. And then for this Kaiser Craft Time Machine one that I did finally smash, I did create 2 Father's Day cards. And I just did it by layering up the pieces of the paper. And this one, I use one of the punch out that says best wishes on your special day. I did try to add a little punch out right there on that one. The front of this one does say time has a wonderful way of showing us what's important. Again, one of the punch out pieces. The little clock was one that I cut out of one of the papers in it. The other one, this one says any man can be a father, but it takes someone special to be a dad. And this number 1 dad, celebrate your day. Those were all punch outs. I did some die cutting with some pieces under there. This was one of the punch outs. And then this little piece right here was actually part of this piece. It was like a tag. And I just cut that off to fit into that die cut. And then when this one opened up, it just says Happy Father's Day. And I used a couple more of those punch outs just to try to use as many of them as I could. And then the other little random pieces. So I did transfer the punch outs into 2 bags. This one was just kind of little bits and pieces that I thought I could add into journal. They were ones that weren't necessarily Father's Day related, or there were more pieces I could use, the punch outs that I could use in journals. So I stuck them in that bag. And then in this bag, I stuck the ones that were more sentiments like thank you, Happy Father's Day, those kind of things, so that I can separate them out. Because I'll put this with my card making stuff in this pile with my junk journal stuff. And then out of the rest of the paper, I cut out some, just kind of some generic tags out of the pieces that were big enough to cut out tags. I also cut out pockets. And a couple of these tags do fit in the pockets. And there's 2 different styles of pockets, but they look very similar. Recently, I was at a rummage sale, and I think it was a Jillian Vance cutting die. I cut out this pocket using that. I was curious to see how it worked out. And even on these right here, if I wanted to, I could add a little bit of these pieces here to finish them off if I wanted to like stick a gift card or something in them. And then these ones were all cut out using a Sizzix steel cut die. So I cut those ones out, and again, most likely I'll use them in junk journals, or I'll gift them in swaps with people that do junk journals. Or you could also, like I said, use these for, you could add a little gift card into them and put one of those little sentiments on the cover. And then I did cut out, as I was cutting those tags out, if there was pieces left big enough, I cut out some banner pieces, and this is like a little tab. I picked up a tab punch at a rummage sale, and so it folds over, and so I have this nice little tab punch now that I can use for my junk journal. So any small pieces that I was able to use to cut those out, I did cut those out. And then here was my little bit of pile of scraps left over, and again I'm going to go through the next time I run stuff through my cutting die machine is I'll cut out some more banner pieces or little punches like this, whatever fits, or small tags, just to use those up. So I won't show those again, but I have shown you guys before in the past just these little things that I cut out with my tiny scraps just to use them up and not keep them anymore. So that was that Kaiser Craft Time Machine paper pad. The next, I did create some items using this Bo Bunny paper pad at Secret Garden. It's a really pretty paper pad. And for that one, I did create some cards. And I did also use some rubber stamps on this one. And it was from a company called Kelly Creates. And they were wreath stamps. I store all my unmounteds in envelopes like this. So that's what they look like. The set looks like. And I think I picked these ones up at Tuesday morning. But I have seen that Kelly Creates brand in the past at Joann's, if anybody's wondering. And all these cards are very similar. I just punched, you know, I stamped out those images and I watercolored them. And you can see I have like a band across them. And then I used a Spellbinders die. It was like Lacy Ovals, maybe, is the name of that one. And so that was that card. Like I said, they're all very similar, just different papers used on them. And then this one I ended up changing it around just a little bit, just because of the pattern on it. I couldn't use the bird stripe this way, and so I layered another piece underneath it. So that one's just slightly different, the layout. I just added that extra piece. And this one's slightly different also. I just layered the piece this way instead of going that way, just because I wanted a couple more cardstock layers behind it. And then this one, it didn't seem like this stamp set really worked for this background paper. So I just did a die cut that says "To a Special Friend" and that same Spellbinders die behind it. And so the last paper pad then that I worked with just a little bit was the Flea Market paper pad from Seven Gypsies. I didn't do a lot, but just a little bit from this paper pad this month. Last month I did show you some window envelopes that I made into little pockets. And so I did make 2 more of those. And I just didn't quite have these decorated the last time, so that's why I didn't show you them last month. But I did decorate them. And I'm also working on, and it might already be up, I just haven't decided yet when I'm going to post them. But I am, for those of you who are into junk journals, I am going to be doing a series on making ephemera using window envelopes, because I have a ton of these envelopes. And so I did do a tutorial on this particular one. So whether it's already up now, if it's not, it'll be up shortly. And I'll be doing a whole series on different ideas on how to use window envelopes in junk journals. And so that one will be in there in that video series. Then I also have one more different style of using those window envelopes again in junk journals that I use this paper pad for. Again, working on that series. I like to pre-do my videos in advance, so you guys are kind of seeing, if they aren't posted yet, you're seeing a sneak peek of them. But here is the other one that I created using that Seven Gypsies paper pad, and this one I did a lot of collaging on the pieces throughout it, and then I used a lot of washi tape too. So this one is like a double, I'm calling it a double envelope flip, so it opens up. And this one I used some of the obscure pieces of paper that I had, and I mixed in some music paper and some other stuff in with it. But these ones also have pockets where you see the tabs right here. The inside pieces do pull out for journaling. And so this one, like I said, I used some of the more obscure pieces of paper in that paper pad that I just wasn't sure what to do with. So, and then this one will be glued down in a journal, so you won't see the back side of this paper. That's why I didn't cover it. It wasn't worth covering it. But then you would glue it down into your journal, and you could still use it as a tuck spot or a top pocket, whichever you decided. So that was the last thing I created with that paper pad. So again, I just wanted to thank everybody so much for watching today. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting.